Good morning and welcome to All Indiana Bets. I'm Danielle McConnell. We got a full lineup of college football today, and we're going to win you some money.
My name is Jason Hammer, and if you lost all of your money in that crypto scandal led by that weenie nerd with the afro, rest easy. We're winning your money back today on All Indiana Bets.
Just trying to make sure it wasn't me. Hey, you know what? I'm just going to be calm about this and say there is one person who has been 9-1 in college football the last 2 weeks. It's not this weenie. It is. Scott, watch the show.
Let's.
This is All Indiana Bets, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. We are all Caesars.
No, you deserve to talk about your 9-1 record.
I don't like it when Scott's successful. I don't.
What?
Because all season long, he's been the pilot of the struggle bus, making his way up and down this college football season.
That's true.
But I got to be honest, hat tip, the last 2 weeks, 9-1 for the representative from Iowa.
I think
so
I'm
golf
only
clap.
like 2 games behind you for the, and you looked like you had it.
I did.
I refuse to look at the overall records. I would tell the producers, I'm like, don't put those up. Who wants to see that?
I'd do that if I were you too, Scott. I get it.
Yeah, so let's put them up.
Okay, let's get started with your local games. Let's begin with the Purdue Boilermakers, who, believe it or not, are in the driver's seat to win the Big Ten West with just 2 games to look at the standings right here. You can see there is a 4-way tie at the top, but based on their remaining schedule, the Boilers have the best chance to win the West, according to ESPN SP Plus model. So Purdue today is a 17.5-point home favorite against Northwestern. Scott, your thoughts on the line in this crazy championship race?
So Danielle, you don't follow the SPS model? I think you can tell, speaking of weenie nerds,
Right?
our producer is the one that writes that stuff, and Danielle's like, what are you putting here? I don't know this.
Isn't that sunscreen? Like, I thought that was sunscreen we were talking about.
Peter needs it. So, yeah, so look, 44% seems a little high over your skis for Purdue because, quite frankly, what happens today is Iowa wins. They're going to beat Nebraska. Purdue,
Minnesota.
I mean, yeah, they beat today. Iowa beats Minnesota, then beats Purdue. I mean, Nebraska. I can't think. I've got Purdue on the mind.
There's too much SPF going on in here. I don't know what's happening.
Purdue doesn't go if Iowa doesn't lose a game, and I think that Iowa will probably win too. Purdue, we're going to talk later, not a great history of handling success in the last part of the season, football or basketball.
But in terms of this game against Northwestern today,
Yeah.
unofficially, I like Purdue in this one. It's not one of my favorite plays on the board, but Northwestern stinks. And I know that this is the betting show, the premier betting show in Indianapolis,
Yes.
and you're looking for SPF-like numbers, but let me just throw something at you. Northwestern stinks. You can take that to the bank, and I do like Purdue to win this game today. Doesn't mean that I love them to win the Big Ten, but say it with me, Northwestern stinks.
I think Purdue will win the game, but I would be nervous about laying that many points. I think Purdue has been famous for blowing games they should win and then coming up against the big Goliath and taking them down. That's just the history of the Boilers. So I would lean with the Wildcats, and you are right. Northwestern has been as bad of a Big Ten team as we have seen in a long time.
All right, staying in the Big Ten, Indiana will travel to East Lansing to take on Michigan State this afternoon. And it appears there was a sharp eye on the Hoosiers because it was at 11.5. It opened, and it decreased to a full point, and it is now at 10.5. So, Hammer, do you like the Hoosiers to cover on this one?
So the sharp money clearly is on the Hoosiers, right? That's what I'm understanding. No, I have watched this Indiana team the last couple of weeks. Why would anybody in their right mind feel like the Hoosiers have the momentum in this game? You're rotating quarterbacks. One seems like he's a little bit more mobile than the other. Maybe he moves the offense a little bit better. And Michigan State's having a down year. They're not any good either. But the weather's going to be cold. It's going to be super windy up in East Lansing. Not that the Hoosiers have an air raid anyway, but it's going to be a one-dimensional game. You're going to see Michigan State stack the box. They're going to eliminate the running quarterback. I don't know where Indiana's points are going to come from unless they come from pick sixes or special teams. I don't like Michigan State, but I like them against the Hoosiers today.
You made some of my points on why I like Indiana, actually. I think the weather does determine things. Michigan State has played better after being just a total dumpster fire most of the season. But they still don't have Kenneth Walker, and there's been no player that has been a bigger loss to his team than him this year. I'll say I think Michigan State, who should not have beaten Illinois, if you look at the stats, that was a fluky game. I don't think Michigan State should be 10.5-point favorites over anybody. I'm on the sharp money, and I would bet this game, even though it's not an official bet. I just did bet it. What do you say there?
Look out. Mr. Tough Guy has entered the chat house. Look out.
Wearing his goofy blazer.
Which is real money.
Guy.
Okay, so up in South Bend, Notre Dame will look to make 5 straight wins when they host Boston College later today. The Fighting Irish are nearly a 3-touchdown favorite. Okay, so Scott, you bet against Notre Dame as heavy favorites last week, and it paid off. Are you doing it again?
I have been doing it all year. I just kind of explained Purdue. If they're playing somebody good, I like Notre Dame. If they're playing somebody bad, and it doesn't get much worse than Boston College, right, Hammer? But here was the story. You know, people thought Jerkovic, and who I thought was the kind of answer, and he was hurt all last year, and then he played badly this year. They found a quarterback last week who played really well. Boston College all of a sudden appeared. He wasn't Doug Flutie, but he was solid, and he's not Matt Ryan. Didn't Matt Ryan go to Boston College?
Matt Ryan went to
Think
Boston
about that. Who knows? Maybe Irsay's going to have, lend Matt Ryan to Boston. Point is, Notre Dame plays up or down to its competition. Too many points. I'll take Boston College.
I'm going to go the other direction here. It's not one of my favorite plays. And again, I have been wrong on Notre Dame a lot this year. I am transparent, I'll let you know, but I'm on a one-game heater when it comes to the Irish. We got them right last weekend, and I think Notre Dame's offense is finally starting to turn the corner. Tommy Rees has yelled enough to the point to where his message is finally being received by the quarterbacks on this program. It's a big number, it is, but at home, in the cold, Notre Dame's playing for something. They're trying to get in a better bowl game. Boston College just wants to go home. Give me the Irish. It's not one of my favorite picks of the day. It's not an official play, but I'll take the Irish in this one.
Okay, if you haven't heard, Mr. Long, he went 9-1
Boom.
on his picks. Clap again.
9-1 the last 2 weeks.
Yes. So let's get your first official pick.
I want to put these on. I feel like that's kind of a good luck piece.
This is Superman putting the cape on.
Wait a minute, I recognize this team. It's the Iowa Hawkeyes, who I've been right on, I think, all but one time this year when I have played them. I got a feel for this team. Okay, Iowa is as good a defense as there is in college football, and they're also built for this weather. You're like, well, why was Iowa so bad early in the year? Because they know the most important games of the season are their rival games. They're Wisconsin. They're against Minnesota today and Nebraska next week. They build, and all of a sudden, they rise from the ashes every year at this time of year. Iowa has not lost a game in November in 4 years. It's been 3 years since they had anything but wins in this situation. What I'm trying to tell you is, you got to take the Hawkeyes in this spot. Kirk Ferentz hates old Row the Boat. He doesn't like him.
Hates him.
And they're recruiting rivals. I like Minnesota's run game, but nobody can run against Iowa. 3 block punts today for Iowa. Probably they'll get 2 fluky safeties, and there'll be a punt return for a touchdown. So they'll probably cover the over just on that horrible offense, Iowa.
Okay, Mr. Hammer, your first pick.
So here's a little inside baseball of how this show really works. Scott has 5 picks that he turns in. I have 5 picks that I turn in. We don't see each other's picks.
No.
So I also turned in the Iowa Hawkeyes as my official first play. But my reasons are a little different than Scott's. Everything that Scott said is right. I love Iowa in the spot. They're getting the points. Kirk Ferentz hates, with the passion of a million fires, row your boat guy. But there's another reason why Iowa is going to win this game. Purdue fans can't have nice things. Every time Purdue fans feel like something good is going to happen with the program. All we have to do is beat St. Peter's. We're going to go to the Final Four.
Oh, that hurts.
All we have to do is win this awful, awful Big Ten West. We're going to go play in Indianapolis. Boom. Iowa happens. Because Purdue fans need Iowa to lose. Because of that, Iowa's going to win because Purdue fans can't have nice things. I feel bad for you, Purdue fans. My cousin is the head coach of the women's program. I'm not an anti-Boiler at all, but Purdue fans, you're kind of like Cub fans were before 2016. You're optimistic, but you're just waiting for the bottom to fall out. You're waiting for something bad to happen. And Iowa is going to be that thing today to basically eliminate Purdue from the Big Ten West. Give me the Hawkeyes.
Woo! All right, if you want to keep up with any of these guys' bets today, there is a QR code right over Mr. Long. You can scan
He was
that.
9-1 the last couple of weeks. Scan that code.
We are just getting started here on All Indiana Bets. With the regular season ending, we've got some college futures for you in a game. Behave yourself. But we're going to play a game called Would You Rather.
Oh, please let me host this.
That's next.
Please let me host this. Let's go.
All Indiana Bets is presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sports betting app you need.
Welcome back. There is just a few weeks remaining in the regular season, and there are plenty of teams in the mix to make the college football playoffs, but only 4 will ultimately hear their name called next month. Okay, so we're going to play a game. It's called Would You Rather.
I've played this game before.
The boys are going to behave.
I never got invited.
I'm going to give them 2 teams. And
Never had a date in high school, Danielle. Never.
My cards, they're stuck.
Nobody's disagreeing with you. Have you noticed that?
Let's just move
not
on.
one person said, "Oh, I disagree with you, Scott." We all agreed. We knew that.
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 teams,
Loser.
and then you're going to tell me which one would you rather. Behave. Here we go. First up, would you rather bet on TCU to make the playoff at plus 200 or Michigan at plus 120? Scott.
I would bet on Michigan. I just don't believe TCU can continue. I have lost much monies on TCU.
Much monies.
Betting against the blood squirting horned frogs out of their eye holes. I'm sorry, there's children in here. They're scary.
Eye holes.
Eye holes, yes, thank you. I would say Michigan.
Give me TCU because Michigan's going to lose to Ohio State.
Okay.
Michigan's going to lose to Ohio State. There's no way the Buckeyes are going to lose back-to-back years to Michigan.
Maybe.
This year it's in the shoe. Plus TCU gives you more juice. So give me the squirty horn frog things.
It's true. Look it up.
They squirt blood from their eyes.
Yes.
It's science.
Yeah, it is science.
Next, would you rather bet on LSU to make the playoff at plus 550 or USC to get in a plus 600? Hammer.
Oh, man. I don't really like either one of these. Oh, what are my options here? Give me LSU because if LSU beats Georgia, then they're in. Like the SEC champion. Even if it's going to be a 2-loss LSU squad, LSU is going to be in as an SEC champion. There's no way that they're going to get denied. They've already clinched their half of the SEC West. They got to pull one upset to get there. I'll take it.
I'm with you on this, and it is a bit of a dream scenario because I made one preseason college future bet. I bet on LSU to win the national championship. $15 paid out $900.
Oh, baby!
So it's been fun. It's been fun. It wasn't fun the first week when no extra points could be made by the kicker, and this is a college extra point. So, yeah, LSU, I'll take it. Hopefully.
Okay, last one. So the odds on Ohio State and Georgia to make the playoffs are heavily juiced.
Right.
But you can get some good value if you think one of those teams won't make it. So would you rather bet on Ohio State to miss the playoff at plus 400 or Georgia to get left out at plus 1,400? Scott.
The juice would tell you, it would probably be better to take Georgia, but I just can't see them losing a couple games. And I could see Ohio State, unlike Hammer, I could see Ohio State losing to Michigan. I just think Michigan's been built to kind of beat Ohio State. There's still a weakness against the run. Very few teams can do it in the Big Ten. Weather can always be an issue. I can't bet against Georgia, so I'll take the Buckeyes. I don't think either one's a particularly great bet.
I'm with Scott. I'll do the Buckeyes on this one as well. Georgia, they're going to be in. Even if they lose one along the way, they're going to be in. If Michigan somehow circles the wagons, beats the Buckeyes, now we got a conversation to have. And usually the committee will favor the SEC over anybody else. So I'll go with the Buckeyes on this one too.
Okay, it's time for second picks. Scott, why don't you go first?
Okay, so this year I've discussed how TCU has been a problem for Scott. I'm not a problem gambler, but I have a problem with a couple teams this year.
Uh-oh.
One of them has been them. The other one's been USC. They have hurt me. I am going back. I am stubborn. I will refuse to believe that USC is the team that their record would demonstrate. They've been incredibly lucky if you look at the luck stats. Here's my story. Last year, UCLA beat basically the same defense, 62-33, and I was on UCLA. I love me some UCLA in this spot. I think that they were looking ahead last week. Chip Kelly has heard, Lincoln Riley this, Lincoln Riley that. He is tired of it. So are the players. A lot of the USC offense is a different group. They're guys that have come in from transfers. I don't think they understand the rivalry as much as UCLA. One more year, UCLA does it again.
Okay, Hammer, who do you have for your second pick?
So Scott brings up the name Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
Look at the mess left behind at his old gig in Oklahoma. So Oklahoma has not yet officially punched their ticket to a bowl game. They're sitting on 5 wins. They may be the biggest disappointment in all of college football this season. And now you've got a rivalry game in front of you. We got a little bedlam. We got Oklahoma State. We got Oklahoma. I've got the better coach. I've got the better team, and I think I'm getting the points here. This is a big number for Mike Gundy. There's nothing Mike Gundy would enjoy more than putting the pressure on Oklahoma to not even make a bowl game. Do you think that would be good for recruiting in that neck of the woods? I think it'd be huge. So give me the man who's 40. Give me the man who once had a mullet. Give me the better football coach, Mike Gundy. The Cowboys, I'll take the points in Bedlam.
Time for another break. We're heading to the bar. I'll be like Oprah. You get a bourbon, you get a bourbon, I get a bourbon.
Let's go.
That's next with the Long Shot and Degenerate Special on All Indiana Bets.
The Long Shot, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook.
It's that segment in the show that everybody loves.
It is.
Us drinking bourbon and Mr. Long's Long Shot.
What are we drinking, Hammer?
Oh.
So this is the Evan Williams apple, right? Because I figured we need to get our fruits in for the day.
It
I
does
poured
feel
us
healthy.
a little Evan Williams apple here. This is really good, tasty.
Okay, so the long shot, you put on the glasses. You're 9-1. You've hit both the last 2 long shots. You feel the pressure. I don't feel any pressure. I'm on a heater. Last night, I was watching my daughter's soccer team. 25 degrees outside. Wind chill tonight. I will be doing it again at Grand Park. 9 degrees. I won't even wear a shirt. That's the kind of heater I'm on.
He's
baby.
rolling. He's hot.
Oh my gosh. So Baylor plus 2.5 versus TCU. I refuse to consider all the losses I've had before with TCU. Every week they have shown up. I admire them. I appreciate them. Baylor looked terrible last week. This is a massive game for Baylor. Last year, Baylor might be in the national championship Final Four if they hadn't lost to TCU by 2 points. This has been circled. It's a home game. The better team, truthfully, talent-wise, is Baylor. They have a better defense. I think this is the week it all ends. Put your money on the Bears in crazy Waco.
As a Tennessee Volunteer fan, can I just say that I love your picks so far? Because as a Vols fan, you're taking UCLA and Baylor, 2 teams that the Volunteers need to take an L. So I'm hoping that you're right, Scott. I am.
Can I stop you and just say that just tells you how legitimately I believe in those, because I want no happiness in Hammer's life. Go ahead.
Oh my
He's not
goodness.
lying.
Okay, degenerate special time. Go.
Come on. Why would anybody want to bet on a Big Ten game? Why would anybody want to bet on the SEC when Georgia State and James Madison are getting together today? You can throw all of the record books out the window when these 2 powerhouses come together. Remember at the beginning of the year, James Madison, they made the jump up to big boy football. First year playing Division I football, and they were rolling people up. They got in the top 25. But then they hit a little bit of a rough patch. They dropped a couple. But today is the day they circle the wagons, my friend. Georgia State, they can score, but they can't stop anybody. They have one of the worst passing defenses in all of college football. Guess what James Madison likes to do? They like to throw the ball around. James Madison has got recruits. In the next couple of years, you're going to see this team sneak in and around that top 25. 9 is not a big number. They're at home today. They've got better skill positions. Their strength against Georgia's weakness. Come on now, this is a no-brainer. This is your degenerate special. Lay the 9 with James Madison. Let's go.
Okay, 3 picks down, but the best is still yet to come. And I mean that literally. These boys are going to give you the best bets. Today, they're brought to you by Evan Williams Bourbon.
Oh, I got the apple going.
And that's next on the other side of the break.
The best bet is brought to you by Evan Williams. Bourbon done right.
Okay, it's time for our best bets of the day. They are brought to you by Evan Williams Bourbon. Hammer, let's go to you first.
You ever see a line? You ever see a point spread and you think, what's going on here? What am I missing? Because this is one of those moments here. UConn at Army, outside, wind, cold conditions, and UConn's getting 10.5? What do the wise guys know that we don't? I don't know the answer to that, so by default, I'm taking UConn. Scott's been on UConn all year. They've been getting better and better as the year goes on. Mora turning that program around, considering they were one of the worst Division I programs in all of college football last year. They've been getting better and better as the year goes on, and Army, pretty one-dimensional here. Like double-digit points and a hook. Going to Connecticut here, something smells fishy, and I haven't figured out what it is. And because I haven't figured out what it is, I'm taking the points. I think this is a mistake. I'll take UConn getting 10 and the hook.
Okay, Scott, who do you have?
I don't know if you heard, Hammer. There's like a big game that happens every year, maybe the biggest game, truthfully, in college football, at least historically. It's called Ohio State and Michigan. And next week, Ohio State gets their big opportunity. They've been pointing to this all year. Let's be truthful. The Big Ten has been down except for 2 teams. 2 teams, that's it. Here we go. Ohio State is going to be flat. 27 points. Too many points. I love Maryland in this spot. I'd never bet Maryland. I bet against them last week, and they barely covered. No, they didn't cover at all. Penn State kind of stomped them. This week, Ohio State flat. Maryland Terps have offense. Ohio State's strength is not their pass defense, and that's how Maryland scores. Take the Terps. It'll probably be a backdoor cover. 27 too much.
If you've learned anything watching this show that we've done over the last 2 years in college football, especially college football, when you play somebody is important.
It's all about spots.
This is a total trap spot for Ohio State here. You're right about that.
Okay, it's time for balling on a budget, Mr. Hammer.
So let's say you had a rough night last night. You lost all your money in the crypto market. Maybe you spent too much money buying some hoagies and hops subs, getting ready for a big game coming up tomorrow.
You can never spend too much money on hoagies and hops.
But I've got a way you could turn $5 into almost $70. 5 into almost 70. It's called a parlay bet.
Have you ever won one of these?
Yes.
When?
Early on. And if you win just one of these all year, you're playing with house money for the rest of the year. So Michigan State against Indiana. Scott's not on my side on this one, but there's nothing I've seen from this Hoosiers team that tells me they can put the ball in the end zone. Michigan State's not good, but if they score 23 points, are we convinced that Indiana is going to put up enough points to cover? I don't think so. Give me Michigan State. Penn State at Rutgers. The under is the play here. Penn State's defense against a horrific offense. Penn State's going to put up a big number. I don't think you're going to get much from Rutgers. That's an under. Let's do a little NBA here. The Magic at the Pacers tonight. Pacers might be without Tyrese Halliburton. Injured his ankle late last night. Night 2 of a back-to-back. Pacers had to travel. The Magic aren't any good, so we're going to take the under in this one because I'm not convinced Halliburton's going to play. And Evansville at SMU. A little college hoopage here. Both of these teams are bad. Both are rebuilding. But the sharp money is on Evansville. This point spread was at 15 last night. It's down to 13.5. You're getting a lot of the pros moving in on the Purple Aces here. Who am I to go against them? I'll take the points. You make that bet. They all got a hit, but you make that bet, you turn $5 into almost 70.
Coming up next, winners win. So it shouldn't come as a shock that this man gave out a winner last week, and he's getting ready to give out another one in just a couple of minutes. Stick around. The Cashman is next on All Indiana Bets.
That is a wise guy. Look at him. When you think of the Mount Rushmore of sports gamblers, you think of Jimmy the Greek, you think of Billy Walters, and then Cashman needs 2 head sizes on that thing in the Black Hills. There he is with his IU hat on. What do you got happening today, Alan?
Thanks, Scott. We're going to take Kansas today, +9 at home, hosting Texas. I think this is a letdown spot for Texas after the game with TCU last week. I don't think Texas is a very good quarterback. And Kansas last year went to Austin, scored 57 in an overtime win over Texas. I like Kansas today, even with their backup Jason Bean, but now I'm seeing that Jalen Daniels may return at quarterback, so I like him even more here. I think it's going to be hard for Texas here to get up after that loss last week. Texas, 4-10 against the spread their last 14 conference games. Kansas, 5-0-1 against the spread their last 6 at home. I'll take the Jayhawks at home today, +9.
Now, if you've been watching, there is a theme. Cashman does not like Texas. Won an easy bet outright last week. Tell people how you make all the money. I'm going to eat a hoagie here right now. Go ahead, talk.
Thanks, Scott. 45-23-1 the last 69 subscriber plays for all sports. Go to thecashmanwins.com. Join 1 year, $58 before the kickoff of the IU football game. If IU covers +11 or scores at least 20 points in this game, I'll upgrade you to a 2-year all sports membership for free at thecashmanwins.com.
That's an amazing deal from the Cashman right
I was
there.
like, that is a
Like
pretty
when you
good
look at all of these wise guys, all these professionals and what they charge, that is such an amazing value. And all he does is win. He's a big, hairy American winning machine, and that's why he's on this show.
This is the real value. I can't wait till we go to that segment, but hey, we got something else before.
Then let's get to the break. Don't go anywhere. Final picks, Mick Pick are coming up next on All Indiana Bets.
Presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. Your first bet is on Caesars. Bet up to $1,250. And if you don't win, you'll get it back as a free bet. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and over.
I didn't know if
first of
you're
all,
telling me to, like,
I
get
disagree,
closer.
Danielle.
Nobody saw Danielle almost fall. Nobody at all, other than the
No,
4 or 5
I thought
people
you
in
were
the
telling me to
studio.
get closer to you. I was like,
No, I thought you almost bit the dust. But you guys were having like a fight. I know we're running long here, but I think this is important. You say,
caramel.
Caramel.
caramel. What say you? You can tweet at me, at Jason Allen Hammer. Who's saying it right?
Tweet
Danielle
them and tell them I'm right.
or Scott?
Yes.
Carmel is a city,
I
but it
live
feels
in
like caramel is something you eat. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I
what we're
love
talking
to go visit Carmel.
Oh,
In
by the sea
Indiana?
in California?
Go ahead.
Okay, final picks. Do your final pick.
Hammer, you're up. No, I'm up. I looked at it and I'm like, oh, it says SEC's one. Is this mine? Okay, what this is about is Kentucky cannot score. They have maybe one of the top 5 picks in the NFL draft who sucked this year.
Yes.
He's looked terrible. Colts, I don't think this is your guy.
Will Levis.
Okay, so this is an under game to me all the way. I don't think Georgia's really that focused on it. I could see Kentucky keeping it close. This is the Big Ten West of the SEC. Take the under.
Yes or no, the Stoops brothers have a history of allegedly understanding the point spread.
I love the Stoops brothers. That's all I'm going to say. Don't dog out the Youngstown boys.
Okay, Hammer, go.
Give me the Gators minus 14 against Vanderbilt here, because ultimately Vanderbilt's not any good. They've been getting better as the year goes on. Their defense, their offense has been getting better. I think you will see some points in this game. Not enough for me to officially check the over, but the better athletes will cover 2 touchdowns. Gators minus 14. What do you have?
Okay, are you ready to see 2 grown men mad at me? That's about to happen in the Mick Pick, because guess what? You heard Scott at the beginning of the show. He's lost money on TCU. Guess who's won money on TCU?
Oh.
This girl right here. Give me
Uh-oh.
those frogs every day. TCU is 8-1 against the spread, and Baylor, they are not doing historically well against TCU. They have lost 6 out of the 7 last games. I'm taking TCU minus the 2, and you boys can take that.
Oh, okay. So you and Scott are actually going head to head. I think this is the first time
We
you
are.
guys have had a little feud going on
Give me
here.
those frogs.
If
Blood
I
on the
lose,
eyes.
I'll say caramel.
Okay, here we go. I'll take it. Hey, if you missed any of today's picks, don't worry. They are going to give you a recap right after this, and maybe have another hoagie for this guy.
Is it time to eat yet?
Almost.
We
Get
got
there.
tailgate food coming up. Can we please get there for the love of God?
Go to the break. We'll get there.
Let's say you didn't win that $2 billion Powerball. Relax. You make these picks, you're going to win way more than that.
Sure.
Scott, what do we got?
Okay, Hammer and I agree. That's not a good sign. Just going to say, don't put a lot on that one. Put the money on the UCLA. UCLA Bruins, this is their game. This is a city rivalry. They want to win. Baylor plus 2. I don't care what old caramel cake says about it. I'm on Baylor. Maryland plus 27. Ohio State will yawn their way into the second half. And Georgia, Kentucky, ugly game, low scoring, cold weather in Lexington. Georgia players will tune out in the second half, win, but it'll be closer. Hammer.
Keep an eye on Kentucky on that one. That reeks of a backdoor cover
Does.
as well. So again, the representative of Iowa and I have the same pick here. Iowa, the Hawkeyes, eliminating Purdue from any Big Ten championship hopes. Oklahoma State, Bedlam against the Sooners. Sooners are a mess right now. And I've always been kind of a Gundy guy. Your degenerate specialist, James Madison, laying 9. We got UConn getting 10.5. Something doesn't seem right here. I haven't figured out what it is, but I'm rolling the dice. And Florida, the Gators at Vandy. I know it's going to be cold, but 2 touchdowns. Come on, it's still Florida against Vandy. Those are our picks. Let's go to our producer, Peter, who is in the studio. What do you got, my friend?
First of all, I'd just like to say these picks are sponsored by the SP Plus rankings. I do wear SPF 50 every time I go to the beach.
I bet you do.
And I'd like to give a big shout out to the SP Plus rankings for these picks that I'm about to give you. I really do. I love the numbers, and the numbers say you got to bet the over in Charlotte, Louisiana Tech. It's 66.5.
This is like an honorary degenerate special.
It's beyond it. It shouldn't even be qualifying for a degenerate.
I bet on Charlotte last week, and then I had to watch the game. I told myself I wasn't going to bet on Charlotte again because it almost made my eyes bleed having to watch them. But here we are. These are 2 of the worst defenses in the country. 128 and 130 out of 131. They both throw the ball a ton. Neither can stop the pass. I think both teams get to 35 or above, so we'll go over 66.5. And then Texas A&M minus 32.5 against UMass. You guys helped talk me into this one.
Yeah.
We all know how bad Texas A&M has looked throughout the season. Close loss after close loss. This is the spot where they take all their anger and frustration out on poor little UMass, who's playing their 3rd straight road game, 2nd straight against an SEC opponent. I think they run out of gas here. I think Texas A&M puts up a big number, so we'll reluctantly lay the 32.5 with the Aggies.
So when you started talking about Charlotte, I started thinking about Charlotte Ray.
Sure.
And then I thought, is
Facts
Mrs.
alive.
Garrett still alive?
Yes.
Unfortunately, she left this earth in 2018.
I don't know who those people are.
You have never seen Facts of Life? You don't know who Charlotte Ray and Miss Garrett is?
I wish I could tell you I have.
Don't sleep on Blair or Tootie. That's all I'm going to say.
Another conversation for
Let's
another show.
go to the food. This is what I do.
Do you know his age?
How do you not know who Mrs. Garrett is?
Hurry up, we got to talk about
Tootie and Blair and the Facts of Life. Come on,
touch
Peter.
This one.
Hoagies and hops.
Mine. Do not
Next.
let it. Don't.
He's angry, isn't he?
Look at this. Try not to look at the football helmet, but look at the food. Look at what Hoagies and Hops has brought in. And in case you haven't figured it out, they've got a direct pipeline to Philly, which is good when you're talking about cheesesteaks.
Right.
Christina is here from Hoagies and Hops. First of all, where are you guys located at?
42nd and Boulevard. So Butler, Tarkington, just a few blocks north of 38th Street, not too far from Hinkle Fieldhouse and Butler University.
This is confidence. When the Colts are playing the Eagles, somebody walks in here that's trying to get your business, but that's how cocky this chick is. She knows that she's bringing the real Philly. Was this the one that you licked on the left or the right?
That's the one I licked.
I don't care. So, this is
I have to
amazing.
bring you another one. I couldn't knock it out of his hand.
I don't do impressions. I'm not Frank Caliendo, but today I'm going to do a Philly guy. Go ahead and talk.
So we got cheesesteaks, we've got Italian subs here. What do we have available?
All right, so growing up outside of the Philly area in the burbs, I missed the Italian hoagie. So this is called the Hog Island, which we've had many times.
Yes.
It's cold cuts that I get shipped in from Philly, but then the rolls are from South Jersey, which if you're from the East Coast, you know that's the most important thing.
Those rolls of bread hit different when they're from Philly.
They do.
That
They
really
do.
makes the sandwich here.
Yeah, so I do hoagie platters. So for tailgating, I mean, this is your last day to get a bunch of platters in for tomorrow. Whether you're a Colts fan, Eagles fan, everyone loves a hoagie. We're open an hour early tomorrow as well. So Sunday we'll be open at 10 a.m. So if you want to shoot in, get a cheesesteak before you head down,
Unbelievable.
come on over. Yeah.
What kind of dressing do we have on these?
So the Italian has my house oil. It actually took me a little bit before I opened to actually get it right. I even made the hoagie, put it in a brown paper bag, took it to my parents and said, smell, like, does this smell like home? And so the Italian vinaigrette I do make. On the cheesesteak, however, I went with the whiz because, it's a love-hate thing with the whiz, but
It is so
it
good.
is fun.
It melts better. It works better. I feel like Ron Jaworski in his prime. You can see me right now. Actually, maybe a young Norm Van Brocklin.
So if somebody wants to get the Philly cheesesteak experience for the Colts and Eagles game tomorrow, or they want one of these awesome Italian subs or something else, today is the deadline to get that catering order in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we'd love for you to come pick it up tonight. We have a lot of people coming today. We're just putting dressings on the side, and they're just bringing in it.
And you're open tomorrow before the game.
Yes,
so
yes,
maybe
we'll be open
somebody
at
doesn't
10.
want a full catering platter, they can get a sandwich.
Oh, heck yeah, come in and get a bunch of cheesesteaks. We also have our Grandma
so good.
Maz's meatballs just for today and tomorrow.
And you guys got a
can also
brewery. You got chili water attached to your restaurant here.
Yes, so Chili Water, they brew downtown, but they're my partners at this location. So if you've never had them, they have some fantastic beer. They have a great Pilsner. Today I have their blood on the
20 seconds left. One more time.
Fantastic.
Where can we find you?
42nd and Boulevard Place, 4155 Boulevard. You want to go to hoagiesandhops.com. You can follow me on Instagram, social media.
Best hoagies and subs in the city of
See you guys
Indianapolis.
tomorrow at noon.
Good
for
luck,
NFL.
everybody.
Good luck.
to the Colts.
See us
Go
at
Bears.
noon.
You're dead
Hoagies
to
and
me.
hops.